Welcome to a new story made by Oracle One. Hollow Eyes, Possession Horror. The rain had started just moments before the crash, a sudden downpour that blurred the world outside the windshield into a swirling mess of dark streaks and wavering lights. Mara's knuckles whitened as she gripped the steering wheel, squinting through the haze. The old country road was slick, and the faint wail of distant thunder vibrated inside her chest. Her heart pounded with tension, a knot tightening deep within her as she pressed the brakes too late. The car skidded, jerking violently to the right, clawing at the shoulder of the road before colliding softly with the gnarled bark of a tree. The impact was minor, a mere bump, but enough to jolt Mara from her grip. Her body lurched forward, restrained only by the seatbelt's harsh pull across her chest. Glass tinkled from somewhere as the engine sputtered and died. She gasped, disoriented. For a long moment, all she could do was breathe deeply, every inhale rattling in her lungs like brittle bones. Then she blinked slowly, loosening her grip on the wheel, and glanced to the seat beside her. No one was there. How had her family not come? They were supposed to be in the car, weren't they? Her own voice felt distant in the cramped interior. A tapping sound, soft, deliberate, caught her attention. She turned her head toward the back seat, eyes struggling through the muted gray light filtering through rain-streaked glass. There, they sat, three shadowy shapes, their faces half hidden beneath soaked bangs and darkened clothes. Molly? Ben? Jake? The names fell slurred from her lips into the emptiness. The shapes stirred. Mara's chest pounded as the overhead light flickered, casting her family in a sudden unearthly glow. Their eyes were empty. Pitch black, like deep pools of onyx, where irises and whites should have been. The hollow sockets gazed directly at her, unblinking, unyielding. Watching. A scream lodged in her throat. Hands trembling, she pushed open the door and stumbled toward the trio, rain pelting her face like icy needles. "Molly," she choked out, her voice trembling. Her daughter blinked once, slowly, and her black eyes seemed to solidify, intensifying the glimmering abyss. Ben followed suit, his vacant gaze settling on hers, unmoving, lifeless. Jake, the youngest, turned his head slowly, revealing the same dark hollows. A whisper of a smile crept across his lips like a shadow sliding across a mirror. Mara staggered back, gasping for air, heartbeat racing uncontrollably. The things in her family's place were not her family anymore. She clawed at the beam of the overhead light, turning it on and off in desperate rhythm, as if the flicker would return their eyes to normal. But the hollow darkness persisted. The rain had eased outside, now tapping gently against the roof, a muted symphony of wetness and silence. Mara's vision blurred as she sank onto the cracked leather of the driver's seat. What had happened? What had they become? The car door creaked. She looked up, and froze as a shadow congealed into shape beside her. A man, drenched, stepped toward the vehicle. His eyes too, black and hollow, reflecting a strange, unnatural light. "Help us," he whispered, his voice a dry rasp that scraped along her skin. "No," Mara whispered, pressing her hands to her ears, turning away. "No, you're not real." The black-eyed man smiled, a grotesque, patient grin, and disappeared into the night. The road ahead was empty. The woods pressed close from both sides, their towering, skeletal limbs creaking beneath the blows of the wind. After the crash, the reality Mara woke to warped beneath her feet. Her phone was dead. The usual panic was replaced by a paralyzing distrust of the world itself. If the eyes were taken, then what remained? What was left inside her family, inside herself? Her thoughts churned as the hollow-eyed figures sat apart from one another, eerily still in the gloom of the car. She took a shakily breath and clicked the door lock. "Molly," she called again, voice rising. "Ben." Jake, please, look at me. The hollow eyes fixed on her, unblinking, terrifyingly empty. Then, something moved inside the smallest figure, a twitch of a finger, a faint breath. Mara blinked hard. Maybe they weren't gone. There was still something inside. She forced herself to concentrate. They needed help, real help. Pulling the jacket tighter around herself, she stepped out into the night, shivering under the broken sky. She walked to the road, searching for a sign of other cars or houses, anything beyond the unnatural silence. Mara's mind spiraled back to the days before the crash. The happy laughter, the quiet evenings when she tucked Molly into bed, the moments when Ben teased Jake over breakfast. Did any of them really belong here now? A dry sob escaped her lips as she sat by the side of the road, clutching the steering wheel, fighting for a thread of hope. Then, glowing faintly from the winding oak forest, a cruel light flickered, like a candle hidden behind ancient trees. She remembered the stories told by locals, tales of a restless spirit trapped beneath the roots, a darkness that preyed on the living, stripping away their light and replacing it with endless black. Had this forest taken them? Was it the reason their eyes were empty, watching her with that terrible, inhuman hunger? Back at the car, the figures suddenly rose, moving in eerie unison. Their steps echoed hollowly against the rain-soaked pavement as they advanced toward Mara, hands reaching toward her like cold, brittle branches. "Please," she whispered, backing away, heart-shattering. "They're not them anymore," a voice whispered behind her, urgent, chilling. Mara whirled around to see an old woman stepping from the shadows, weathered and fierce, eyes gleaming with a deeper knowledge. "You must run," the woman said, voice trembling. "The hollow takes. It feeds on your fear and your love, turns your kin into watchers. Those black eyes do not see mercy." Mara shook her head. "I'm not leaving them. They're lost," the woman said, stepping closer. "But there is a way to fight it, a way to bring back their souls. But it requires courage, more than fear can offer." The hollow eyes. The woman explained in a whisper that the forest was cursed, a place where the veil between worlds had thinned centuries ago. The hollow was an ancient entity, a parasite that invaded the bodies of the living, silencing their humanity and turning them into empty vessels. Hollow-eyed sentinels meant to lure others into the nightmare. Mara's family was caught in its grasp. To save them, she needed to enter the forest, to find the hollow's heart, a twisted chamber deep beneath the oldest oak, and confront the darkness within. She hesitated, fear gnawing at her resolve. But the thought of leaving her hollow-eyed family behind was a more terrible nightmare. Mara nodded grimly, determination sparking through the despair. The old woman handed her a small, tattered book bound with blackened leather. "Inside are the prayers and rituals," she said. "You must recite them at the hollow's heart. Only then can their souls be freed." The forest loomed, dark and tangled, whispering ancient secrets on the breeze. Each step Mara took blurred the line between reality and nightmare. The black-eyed watchers followed silently, their hollow gaze burning into her back. The air thickened, heavy with decay and something far older, a pervasive hunger lurking beneath the earth. Branches clawed at her clothes. Shadows pressed close, whispering lies that threatened to drive her mad. Her breath came in rasping gasps as the moon disappeared behind shifting clouds, leaving her alone in the suffocating blackness. Finally, the ancient oak towered above her, roots twisting like serpents, the ground beneath fissured and trembling. From the fissure, a dark mist curled, alive with malevolent will. Mara shivered but stepped forward, clutching the book tightly. She began to chant, strange words slipping from her dry lips. The text twisted around her, the air growing tight, buzzing with the power of long-forgotten spirits. The old hollow answered. From the roots, a figure emerged, massive, writhing tendrils crowned by a twisted, faceless head with gaping black voids where eyes should have been. The very darkness itself made flesh. Mara's skin prickled as the hollow beast roared, a sound like the crushing of bones and the stifling of countless screams. Yet, she stood firm, voice steady through trembling lips. She recited the prayers faster, the ground shaking, tendrils reaching for her with endless hunger. Her eyes burned as the last words of the ritual passed her tongue. A flash of white light exploded from the book, scattering the darkness like shattered glass. The beast howled, shrieking as it writhed and twisted, its tendrils shrinking back. Mara collapsed, gasping, exhausted. The forest seemed to breathe again, the shadows receding. She staggered back to her car, heart pounding. There they were, Molly, Ben, and Jake stood waiting. Their eyes, clear and bright once more, locked on her with fragile but unmistakable warmth. Tears streamed unchecked as she embraced them, the hollow nightmare finally lifting. But even as the family clung together, the night whispered warnings beneath the retreating storm. For the hollow had been beaten back, yes, but it had not been destroyed. And deep in the dark roots of the ancient oak, the blackened eyes hidden in the earth blinked open again. Like and subscribe for more stories.